John Yoo is back with us, the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, legal extraordinaire. John, that was interesting. What Lydia's take, and what was sort of enrapturing the jury and what wasn't. Not so much financial types and accountants and business types talking about, well, what accountants and business types, i.e., like myself, talk about. But Stormy Daniels, obviously very compelling. By extension, I would imagine the same with Michael Cohen. What are you to glean from that?
First, I want to know, when is Michael Cohen going to make up T-shirts that say Cavuto School of Law behind bars?
Done. It would be a big seller, I think.
But this is really what's going on here. Yes. Here's, I think, if you said, let's assign some grades. So I think actually the prosecution deserves a failing grade at the level of strategy, while Donald Trump at the level of legal strategy should get an A, because the goal of the prosecution, we shouldn't forget, was to knock Donald Trump out of the race. And instead what has happened is that Donald Trump is now leading in almost all the battleground states in a New York Times poll over the incumbent. So at the level of strategy, the prosecution has really done poorly. But at the level of tactics, trial tactics, what's going on in the courtroom, Donald Trump hasn't done as well as he could have. And I think the key mistake, the reason why Lydia could report that Cohen's in there, that Stormy Daniels in there, they're captivating the jury, is because Donald Trump and his lawyers denied that anything ever happened. Think how much narrower this case would have been if Donald Trump had said, his team had said, okay, we admit that he had some kind of affair with Stormy Daniels. We admit that we paid money for an NDA. Those are all legal. And focus instead on, as you were just saying with Lydia, did Trump actually have the mental state to try to defraud New York and use that to cover up a campaign finance contribution? That's the real crime that allegedly has been committed. And so far, none of that evidence that's been brought forward by the prosecution really proves that even close to beyond a reasonable doubt.
But, you mentioned Donald Trump and whether the legal strategy was wise here that they imparted. But it's risky for Donald Trump to take the stand regardless, because that question will come up. Did you or did you not have this affair with this woman? And she was very descriptive and clear and detailed in identifying where it happened, what was going on, things she would not have known had she not been in that Lake Tahoe room. So that would be a risk for him, would it not?
Well, yeah, Neil, now you're thinking like the DA here, because they realize they don't have a crime that they can prove under the laws as they pled in the indictment. So what do? You drag Donald Trump through the mud.
Right.
You try to destroy his character. You make him look so bad that the jury, just watching the story, wants to convict him of something, right? They just want to convict him of something. So Donald Trump, right, and they're setting a trap. They're egging Donald Trump on to testify. They're daring him, right? Stormy Daniels posted a tweet right after she testified saying real men would testify. And that, I think, would be a huge mistake for Trump. They're counting on Trump being impulsive, thinking he'd talk his way out of anything by showing him all these attacks on his character, try to say, Donald, we dare you to testify. That would be a big mistake. I think actually the defense could even be wise to barely put on any witnesses, maybe one or two accountants, but not bring on anybody important, and just close and see if the judge even thinks there's enough evidence here to let the jury decide the case.
You got 33, 34 counts on business, hanky-panky and all of that stuff. What are the odds that Donald Trump can dodge guilty verdicts on any of them?
The thing is, they're all really the same crime. This is really, prosecutors are not supposed to do this. As right. Me and Andy McCarthy have said on your show, it's really just one effort to pay Stormy Daniels off and then hide where the money came from. And so what the DA did is they split it up into every single time there was a check or every time there was an invoice, it's another count. It really is just one count. I really think what's going to happen here, if I had to bet money, is that all Trump needs is one juror to say, I don't agree. And then it's a hung jury, it's a mistrial, and the DA has to consider whether to start all over again.
And that one juror has to do that 33, 34 times, right?
Yeah, I think so, but it's really just one decision you have to make. And it really has to be, think of it this way. You have to make a decision on Donald Trump's state of mind. It's unlikely he said, I'm going to cheat the law on 33 counts, but on one other check, I was really trying to cheat the law. So I think a jury will add them all together into one big decision. Did Donald Trump really mentally have the state to break the law?
Got it. Thank you, my friend. John, you following all that very, very closely. Again, that trial resumes tomorrow.